AP and UFC Member of Parliament Cathy Hughes said her overriding response to the 2023 budget is a deep disappointment that this opportunity to really give our country and our people what they have waited so long for is an opportunity lost. She reminded the government of some of the achievements of the AP and UFC government without the oil funds.
Speaker, I note that in 2016 our inflation rate was 1.4, 2017 1.5, 2018 1.6, 2019 0.1 by the same government that supposedly mismanaged the economy. Today it's a whopping 7.2% and rising as the food costs highlight. Prudent management of the inflation rate, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if we look at Appendix 6 in the budget, of course, it talks about our public debt. And I don't want to list all the figures because of time, but I just want to say in 2018, it was 1.79 billion, and by this year, we expect it to be 4.4 billion. Mr. Speaker, the minister states on page 26, since returning to office, we invested over 10 billion in plant and equipment. This year, sugar gets over 4 billion. And yet, Mr. Speaker, when the coalition was in power and so-called mismanaged the industry, in 2019, 92,282 tons of sugar was produced. And in 2022, under the excellent management of Mr. Singh, the PPPC could barely produce 47,000 tons. This does not make a lot of business sense, Mr. Speaker.
You spoke about the high cost of living and the increase in old age pension.
It shows good quality depends. A bill for $4,000. And I know Depends can be bought cheaper in Guyana. But it was a pensioner that said to me, Miss Cathy, we buy this one because it lasts a little longer. So your $5,000 increase would be spent on 18 Depends. And maybe we could throw in a bottle of Ensure for the pensioners. Is that the best we can do? Mr. Singh, Honorable Minister Ashley Singh, you and this PPP government have given the pensioners nothing really. And that's why we had recommended 50,000. Our persons with special needs, whom the Minister of Education boasts we're going to do more for, which is good. They get an increase of $2,000. Really, Mr. Speaker? That is actually 2 taxi drops, assuming you're living in Georgetown. If you're living anywhere near Herstelling, it would be 2,000 or 2,500, depending on the time of day. Mr. Speaker, there has been much debate about the future of education. And I am strong and I support the programs that are going to improve the ability to give a higher quality education to our students. But Mr. Speaker, we have been told, but we have to ask, how come with a budget of over 700 billion, we have to wait until 2025 for the students, the university students, to get a little something? Mr. Speaker, could we give them a 50% reduction in the fees? Get creative, work together, maybe arrange a 25% rebate, something to help the students in these difficult times. How can we justify putting 4 billion into sports? And I'm a strong supporter of sports. How can we support and justify 4 billion in sports and a little over 3 billion for the University of Guyana, the premier institution where we and the private sector expect our qualified Guyanese students to come out of from?